Velocity time graph. In this tutorial, we will understand what is velocity time graph and how they are related to one another. As you can see, we will start by discussing this example that we have here. The title is Velocity Time Graph of Gavin's Run. The y-axis, which is vertical, represents the velocity and the unit is meter per second. The x-axis, which is horizontal, represents the time and the unit is seconds. Look here, from 0 until this point here, which is half of 240, the straight line is moving upward until it reached almost 1.1 meter per second, so the velocity is increasing. It was 0 at this point, and at this point the velocity is 1.1 meter per second. The velocity increased. Let's read below. Calculating acceleration and deceleration from a velocity time graph. Acceleration is when the velocity is increasing. Deceleration is when the velocity decreases. Now we will learn how to calculate the acceleration and deceleration from the velocity time graph. On a velocity time graph, acceleration equals gradient. So we obtain the gradient for each line and it will be the acceleration. For example, from 0 to 120 seconds, how much is the acceleration? We take the part that is from here to here and we calculate the gradient, which is the A or the acceleration. We are going to see how to calculate the gradient of a graph, but pay attention to this point. That negative acceleration is deceleration. So deceleration is equal to minus acceleration. For this line here, the acceleration will be positive. Why? Because the line is moving upward, so the acceleration is positive. The same applies for this part. The acceleration here is positive as well. Here, the acceleration is negative. Why? Because the velocity is decreasing, so it is deceleration, minus A. Now you might think why we didn't talk about the straight horizontal lines. Because in these parts, the velocity is equal to 0. Also, here in this part, the velocity is 0. From 120 seconds to almost 420 seconds, which is here on the graph, the velocity is 0. So, we can calculate the gradient for each line to know whether it has a positive gradient, which is acceleration, negative gradient, deceleration, or if the velocity is 0.